presents. Just before Christmas, I was fortunate enough to receive a small box of goodies from the awesome team at Apollo Automation. Amongst the little gems inside were a couple of present sensors, the MSR-2 and the PoE-based Apollo 1. I've got a great idea for what I'll use the Apollo 1 for later on, but for this video, I'm using the MSR-2 because I have a very specific problem I want to solve. So my kitchen presence has really been driving me crazy. So a while ago I made some mmWave sensors which worked awesome, but now they keep freezing. So I recently swapped them out to test a few battery powered mmWave units, which somehow managed to make it even worse. Either I'm a ghost or these things are just really sus. Either way, it's time to replace the whole lot with something I can actually rely on. So let's fix this unreliable presence detection, and that's where the MSR-2 comes in. So I'll get the thing up and running and then I'll circle back to talk about my thoughts afterwards. So let's walk through setting up the device. First of all, we'll go and open up Home Assistant. So we're going to need ESPHome loaded for this. So if you don't have that, that's okay. It's pretty simple. Go to Settings, Add-ons, and then we go down to the Add-on Store. And then you should see under ESPHome, the ESPHome device builder. Click on that. And a simple install. This will take a while, so I'll speed this up. Cool, it's installed. Sliders on for the Watchdog auto update and add to sidebar. Now we can see it over here. Simply hit start, and I like to look at the logs, make sure that these are all looking good. Go to ESPHome builder. Cool, working fine. What we're going to do now is we go over to integrations, and this is where we're going to start the install. Right, so we'll jump over to the phone and we'll set up the MSR-2. So we bring up our network, go and find, it should pop up. There we go, Apollo. Cool. And open up a browser and go to 192.168.4.1, which is the MSR-2. Go and find the wireless we want it to connect to. And it should be rebooted and connected. And you'll see the devices now popped up. Apollo MSR-2 with its number. So what we'll, first of all, before we do anything, we'll click on the ESPHome builder and we'll see how it's discovered one device. So we're going to take control of this device. And I'm going to change the name to Kitchen Presence. Take control. Cool. We don't need to go and install anything, so we'll go skip and close. Refresh that page. It shows Kitchen Presence. Now let's go back to our integrations, and now we can go add this device. Add. I'm going to change the name again. Now that we've added our device to Home Assistant, we can simply just configure it through here. If we actually go to the Apollo Automation website, while you're there, feel free to browse around and have a bit of a shop. They've got some pretty awesome products in there. Right, so we go to Our Company and Documentation. Now their documentation is top notch. That's pretty awesome. So there's some really good, some reading sources here. But what we want to do is go find our product, the MSR-2, click on that. They've got a good radar tuning portion here. So we'll click on MSR-2 tuning. To do this though, you'll need to have hacks installed because we need to install a couple of cards, the Streamline card and the Plocky graph card. So it's easy to follow this documentation through this. And we'll leave this page because we're going to need this YAML generator shortly. Right, so if we go back to Home Assistant, I've got hacks already installed. And let's go find Streamline. Download. Cool. Reload. Do the plotly. Same thing again. Download. Load. Now we can go create a dashboard. Where is that? So we'll go into our settings, dashboards, add a dashboard. We'll start from scratch. All right, let's do it. And I'm going to give it a beaker. Here we go. Great. So as we can see, we've got it over here and it's empty. So what we need to first do is let's go and we have to grab our entity name. Now I know mine is kitchen_presence, but click on the ESPHome, just click on anything, configuration, and what we need is the middle piece, so your device name, copy, go back, and we'll go back to that page. If we go down this wiki, paste it into the device name, generate. Awesome. We come back over to the dashboard we just created, edit that, and again go to the raw configuration editor and simply go to the end and paste. And I'm going to change mine title to kitchen MSR-2. Let's save that, exit. We're done. Now we've got this new dashboard here, which is pretty cool. Let's turn on the engineering mode. We can see all the gates, so gate 0 to 8, and all the settings here. Makes it a bit more easier to see what we're actually doing. As you can see, so we've got multiple zones. You've got zone 1, 2, and 3. You can go, at the moment, you can see that it's up to from 0 to 50 centimeters is zone 1, up 50 to 150, zone 2, and zone 3 is up to 250. So where I'm going to put mine, I'm going to be taking that to 150. We'll make that 3 meters, make that 5. And we'll see our gates are there. Obviously it's right next to me at the moment. And now something you might want to know is that obviously this is the freedom units. Now some of us on the other sides of the world, we don't use that. We edit here, got a couple of options. We can now edit this. Simply change that over to centimeters. But I will quickly show you something. I noticed with this code, they've got a dynamic state that we can actually switch that around. So if you do want to flick between, I'll just quickly show you that. If we go into our helpers, you go create a helper, this one here. You go create a helper, it's a drop down, and then add in all the units, so millimeters, centimeters, meters, inches, feet, yards, whatever you want. And then make sure you put in this exact entity ID. What that allows us to do, we'll go back to here, we'll edit. And if we go into this dashboard, create editor, just delete this whole line out. Save that, go done. Quickly go to helpers, click on that. And now you can just click on centimeters and it changes it. So you can have it whatever you want, the millimeters. But like me, I get a bit OCD at times. So there we go. We've gone and created our end zones. And now this gives us an easier measurement to go and actually look and where the gate thresholds are against where we are. So one thing you need to make sure you do look at is you'll see down here the maximum move and maximum still. So anything past that it's going to ignore. So if we move that up to 7 and 8, so straight away it's obviously going to take that full 6 meters. So I've got my zone in here because otherwise it'll be picking up the open lounge nearby. So I'm going to take that back to 7, and it's 7. Actually, I might start off with just 6. Looking at the documentation, obviously we need a shout out to MercoP for creating this. Right. So what we can do now is we can go create an automation. So ignore that one, that's one I've already got. So click on there, use the device as a trigger. And we're purely just looking at the radar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to zone 1 becomes occupied. Let's go and edit ID. We'll go where it's got zone 1. Duplicate that, make that zone 2, change it to zone 2 occupied, and we'll obsolete, so zone 3 occupied. It's easy enough to just do it this way. Duplicate that one, and it's going to be radar target to become not occupied. We'll change that. And then we go down to, we'll do use condition, wait a condition, triggered by zone 1, and the action is going to be light turn on, right, and we're going to put the color in there. So it'll be Q5. Cool. I'll now do the same thing. Okay. Let's do one more. This one. Make that zone 2. Oh, can't even spell. Cool. Zone 2. And it's going to be, change that light to 255 0. So it's nice and green. Cool. And the last one, zone 3. I'm going to make that blue. Nice. And then the last one going to be, if it's not occupied, need the lights to turn off. Pretty straightforward. Presence in 1, the light will come on and it's going to be in red. Presence in 2, it'll be green, and presence in 3, it'll be blue. And obviously if it's not occupied, it will turn the light off. So save that. Let's call it. Cool. Now we can go off and test that. So now that I've moved the sensor over into my live setup, I might just quickly show you some of the things that you can look at doing, well, what I've done anyway. So if I go into, I've got a dashboard just set up here, so which is obviously my lights. Now, what I've done is I've created some helpers for lux for different times of the day, evening, morning, night. And what that allows me to do is I've also created a sensor to time slot of the day. So at the moment it's night time. You can see that the lux up here is sitting at 10.9, and I've got a template which basically goes off and calculates if the lux is less than the threshold, then obviously it's dark enough to turn the light on. So if I go to night. At the moment it's sitting on 20. If I take that down to 0, take this. You can see now it's off. So basically, if I walk into the kitchen, the light won't come on. Obviously, if it's under the threshold, so I'll just take that back to night. So we'll say 30. And this is just basically to stop it from jittering when it gets close to that lux threshold. So it gives us a bit of a buffer. Oh, now it goes kitchen on. So what I've done, so where are they? My helpers, as I said, the luxes and my kitchen dark enough. And now if we go and look at the automation, so this is my automation towards it. So similar to what we had before, which is obviously, I'm not worried about the zones at the moment. So I've just got when the radar is detected, when it's detected, so there's someone in there, when there's no movement for 15 seconds, and when the time is fired. I also had some light overrides, so I've got a schedule. So for just before sunset, I had the lights turning on in certain rooms, and then turn override so they don't go on and off, and people walk through. And same if I want a full override for the whole house, I've got that in there. What happens is if there's motion on and it is dark enough, the dark enough is on, it will then go and cancel any timers that are counting down, and then go through just different options. And what I have is I have scenes for each of these. So different in the morning, daytime, evening, we create scenes, which I'll show you. Click over here quickly, and these are my scenes. So I'll do daytime if for some reason, hey, the weather's crud, and so I've got my kitchen lights turn on 100%. Go back to that. Overnight, obviously we don't want them blasting extremely bright at 3 o'clock in the morning, so the bench will come on at 20%, because sometimes we'll go have a little bit of a midnight snack or grab a drink of water or something, and over the sink, because it's facing the road, so that's sitting at 8%. So go back over here, so obviously that will kick that off. And then if there's no motion, the motion trigger hits, it will start that timer. And obviously if you walk in between that while it's counting down, it'll just go reset it. And the last one is when the time's actually does a full countdown, it just goes and turns the lights off. So that's been working extremely well. So it just gives you an idea of some of the things you could look at doing on your own. Just to be transparent, Apollo Automation did send me this device free of charge, but this is not a sponsored video. All they've asked is honest feedback from my testing. All thoughts and opinions are my own. So after running this in my kitchen for about 3 weeks now, it's been pretty uneventful, and that's exactly what I want from a presence. The lights come on as we enter the room, and go off when we leave. No freezing, no more dropouts, and no more second guessing. I've basically stopped thinking about presence altogether, and that's exactly what I want. What I really like about the MSR-2 is it's not just a presence sensor. It's more of a all-in-one that happens to do presence really well. You've got the radar for presence, plus things like temperature, pressure, light level, and UV all coming through into Home Assistant. So this gives you more room later to expand automations without the need to add more hardware. In terms of the size, it's small enough just to disappear into the room, which I really appreciate. One thing I wouldn't mind seeing though is a built-in PIR. Just for that instant, someone's just walked in the room. Saying that, there's nothing wrong with the radar, it works really well. It's not a complaint, just nice to have. At the time of me making this video, if we look on the website, it's about $38 US. So that equates to about 65 New Zealand dollars. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out the product yourself. So for me, this has been about getting presence into a place where I don't have to think about it anymore. It's just another solid piece into the foundation of my smart home. Once that's in place, everything else in Home Assistant just gets easier to build on. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this useful and gave you a few ideas. Until next video, take care.